Good evening. Good evening here in Tewa, ancient Tewa territory. Yes, the Dharma is vast and subtle and terrifyingly radical. And whatever you have to say, says poet Charles Olson, whatever you have to say, leave the roots on. And the dirt, let them dangle. Make clear, make plain where you come from. And that is radical work. It is a gift to sit in this room with you all in such dangerous and consequential times. Now we are sitting and dedicating this Dharma talk to our beloved teacher and friend, Hosan Allen Sanaki, abbot of Berkeley Zen Center, who is on the 7th floor of the intensive care unit at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California, Chichen-Yoloni territory, on life support and in our hearts in every way. This is the 10th of January. Tomorrow is the new moon and the king tides are rising. And this is, thank you, Yun Men, thank you. Today is a good day. Today is a good day. Today with grace and grit and gathered attention. We've recalled our deepest intention, attuned to self and other, considered fresh what will serve, and engaged wholeheartedly in the great matter and in radical ceremony, celebrating Anthony Sowen Beck, oncologist, physician, healer, director of palliative care at Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, and colleague of Roshi Joan Halifax for more than 25 years. This meditation hall has become a nursery. A newborn novice priest was born today. Congratulations, Sowen. What a beautiful ceremony. And radical for someone as innovative and courageous in the medical system to take ordination, to receive ordination, no taking. Winerango, peaceful abiding. We've gathered to study the koans. I'm grateful to Upaya Zen Center beyond measure for challenging us in this way and providing a context for us to look at what is difficult. Oh, Lord, a prayer from a 13th century Sufi that was offered in this room in 2018. I was here with Hosan Allen Sanaki and the chaplains. Oh, Lord, increase my bewilderment. A Sufi prayer, and the koans are complying. I'm grateful to Upaya in every way, and to San Francisco Zen Center, my home Dharma center, for supporting the translators. Every time I touch this beautiful old book, which belongs to Martha de Barros and Lee de Barros, and bringing it here so there can be here. Every time I put my hand and mind into the Blue Cliff record, I remember Dr. Cleary. And every time I lift up the beautiful Chinese records from Andy Ferguson, I think of the work of translating and following. And every time I open Moon and the Dewdrop, I praise Taz Kanahashi. And I'm grateful to Zen Center for supporting them in their work. All right, we've gathered to study these koans. We're on a roll here. We've opened up the Mumaikon, we've opened up the Book of Serenity. Now we're in the magnificent Blue Cliff record. Old books and frightfully current. if we really read them deeply. Wild red Tao's deep earth roots. These roots are made of Zen and Chan, and seamless in their thirst and acceptance of the old graft of Buddhism, which gives them new life. Wild red Taoist roots, Chan and Zen. These stories are vividly alive in very tumultuous times. They come from tumultuous times. They're made of curiosity and courage and willingness to go lean, to be a cloud and water wanderer, to leave home and find new land, new territory, undiscovered. And we dedicate ourselves and immerse in the classic Tang dynasty of our 8th century Chinese masters. These are family stories. They are family stories. And you think of the 6th ancestor, Hui Ning, living in the folds of the wild mountains of China, surrounded by a community of radical practitioners, Matsu, Baichan, Huangbo, Dongshan, Yanchu, Yangshan, amorphous, undomesticated home leavers, and returning to the southern peaks, living in and among the mountains. That's why their places of practice, their home temples, receive their names from the mountains. And then again and again, living in and with the mountains, the kitchen garden, the rice paddy, the ragged forests, the weeds, everywhere the weeds, and the kitchen. And from these places, practice arrives. There's a beautiful line in Latin, solvitur ambulando. It means, I will solve the mystery by walking. Solve the mystery of what it means to be a human being and alive in dangerous times by walking into the fire of these times. 8th century, classical period of Zen emergence, just like today. Frighteningly so. Destruction, war, societal collapse, government takeover, 20 years of pillage and violence following the An Lushan Revolution from 755 to 763. A death toll numbering, the count is difficult to really ascertain, a death toll of between 13 and 31 million souls. A death toll comparable to the full loss of life in the First and Second World War. And out of this fiery matrix, it's a matrix of betrayal too, political betrayal, and greed, and grasping. The teachers went to the mountains, not to the mountains, into the mountains to live again. A monk asked Jiao, when times of great difficulty arise and come to visit us, how should we meet them? Welcome. That was his answer. Welcome. And from this classical period, the texts, each one is one. They're glorious. Compilations, poetry, breakthrough poetry, as Kaz reminded us in Rohatsu. A breakthrough depends on poetry. Live roots, poetry uncontrollable. So the Book of Serenity, the Blue Cliff Record, the Muman Kan, deeply unsentimental. Texts, poetry, stories that bring the mind to a stop and rearrange our molecular nature. so that we can better live in apocalypse right now, live in apocalypse and uncover what we're meant to do. These are our stories, if we live them and live by them, because they arise out of precarity. They arise out of not knowing what to do. Even a great medical person, and we have a good number of them in this room, sometimes, often, doesn't know what to do. And there are 5 houses of Zen. I love thinking of the 5 houses of Zen. Guiyang, mystical. As I'm going to mutilate the Chinese language now. You're going to forgive me. No, please forgive me. I beg you. Guiyang, mystical, esoteric. Kadong, Soto school, Dongshan school. How many hours have we dedicated to immersion in this beautiful school? Quiet meditation, beautiful. Yesterday's teaching, silent, serene, and what am I missing? Silent, it'll come up. Deep study of 5 ranks, the home flavor. Silent and still. Silent and still. And then Lin Shi school, linked to Yun Men school. Lin Chi, the school of blows and shouts. Fiery school. Yun Men, old cases. Absolute admonition not to write. He admonished his students, don't write down my words. And don't copy me, as haiku poet Basho says. Don't copy me. It's as boring as 2 halves of a melon. Don't copy me. That's Basho, not Yunmen, but they're made of each other because they're poets. No writing, although the monks in the school of Yunmen crafted paper robes, and when they took off their paper robes, they had a sharp and fast pen or a quill, and they did write, and we're grateful. Live words, paradoxical statements, 1 word barriers, single atom samadhi, dust, medicine, disease, subdue each other. Every day is a good day. Appropriate statement. Give me an appropriate statement. Upside down statement. Give it to me. Body exposed in the golden wind. Medicine and disease. And as Eve Marco Roshi says, the fittingness of not fitting and being willing not to fit. Can we do it? Can we stay with them? Can we not be tossed away? As Katagiri Roshi reminds us, just continue under every circumstance. Make a positive effort for the good, and don't be tossed away. Don't be tossed away by thinking we can't understand this. These are our stories. And if we can't understand them, they can't live. They can't be fully alive and dangerous and procreative. Yun Men. I'm called to him. I keep picking out his stories. Medicine and disease subdue each other is a koan that one of my closest Dharma sisters, present at the birth of both of our children, had a lot of difficulty and a lot of love in our life. It's the koan that she turns her life on. So to honor her, I look at it tonight, and I've looked at it. It's called me out, and then of all things, a day of affirming a baby, brand new priest who's a medicine man. It's amazing. The fortune. 18 of the koans in the Blue Cliff record, 18. That's about a fifth. 18 of the 100 koans come from the school of Yunmen, which continues. 790 disciples, 300 years, merged into Linchi's house. Soto House, Rinzai House continue, and I made of old roots and old stories that are very fresh. and 8 koans in the Shoyuroku, 5 in the Mumonkan, from the eloquent, restless, terse, indirect, ragged mind of Yunmen. And not one single atom opposes you, says Hung Jur, cultivating the empty field. And no place can be other than myself. Therefore, I can understand these stories. So let's listen. The words are so beautiful and modern and timeless. The pointer. Medicine and disease subdue each other. Case 87, Blue Cliff Record. Hekigan Roku. What's your blue cliff? Let's not get stuck in the blue cliff of the elders. What blue cliff are you facing? Every single koan is a blue cliff. Can I actually advance on this mountain? They belong to us. A clear-eyed fellow has no nest. Just listen, let it roll over you, these words. A clear-eyed fellow has no nest. Sometimes on the summit of a solitary peak, weeds grow in profusion. Sometimes a clear-eyed fellow is naked and free. He's in the bustling marketplace. Suddenly he appears as an angry titan with 3 heads and 6 arms. Suddenly, sun-faced Buddha, moon-faced Buddha, he releases the light of all-embracing mercy. In a single atom, dust, he manifests all physical form to save people according to their type. Such a beautiful line. To save people according to their type. Not each one is one, there are many of them. To save people, to be with people according to their type. He mixes mud with water. Suddenly, he releases an opening upwards, and even the Buddha's eye cannot see him. Even if 1,000 sages appeared, they too would have to fall back 3,000 miles. Is there anyone with the same attainment and same realization? To test, I cite this to see. Yunmen, this is the case 87. Yunmen, teaching his community, said, medicine and disease subdue each other. Medicine and disease subdue each other. The whole earth is medicine. What is yourself? Again, Yunmen, teaching his community, says, medicine and disease subdue each other. The whole earth is medicine. What is yourself? Take it in, okay? Take it in. Medicine, sometimes we say medicine and poison. Lots of different ways to translate. Shakespeare in Romeo and Juliet translated it as, within the infant rind of this weak flower, poison has residence and medicine power. Medicine and disease are everywhere. And we're not going to have a nice binary balancing, a homeopathic solution. We're not talking about that. That is old school. Times are too hard right now. Medicine and disease subdue each other. The whole great earth is medicine. What's yourself? What are you made of? How do you make medicine out of poison? How do you heal? How do you make healing out of a broken heart? How do we hold someone we love so much who's traversing the great matter? And of course, we know how we do it. Again and again and again. Fresh, radical, poetically, lightheartedly, with deep footsteps. And we break through. Tonight, interestingly, I read the case before coming down. I thought, one more read. And I had an image of Enkyo. I looked out the window at the snow. And I saw Enkyo walking across the Tang Dynasty Mountains on snowy fields and dropping down to the great matter. Dropping down through the snow to the soft mud. Remember? In Ohatsu, we listened. We heard it. We felt. We went down with her. Breaking through. That's our job. It's our honor. It's our challenge. And, when Thich Nhat Hanh talks about a Zen key, he's talking about a particular key that will only fit your door and will take your whole life to turn. It sounds kind of, will take our whole lives. I don't want to point out. Yunmen said, medicine and disease subdue each other. The whole earth is medicine. What is yourself? Do all of you, this is commentary, do all of you have a way to get out 24 hours a day? Concentrate on towering like a high mile wall. The whole earth is medicine. Where will you sink your teeth into this? If you can sink your teeth in, I'll grant you have a place to turn around and show some life. Then you'll see Yunmen in person. If you look around and hesitate, you won't be able to get your teeth into it. And Yunmen is the one under your feet. Medicine and disease subdue each other. This is just an ordinary proposition. If you cling to existence, he'll give you a dose of non-existence. If you're attached to non-existence, he'll speak of existence for you. If you're attached to neither existence nor non-existence, he manifests the 16-foot golden body for you in a pile of crap and rubbish, appearing, disappearing. And if you hesitate, oy, voy, voy. Right now, these words are so beautiful. Right now, this whole great earth is a profuse array of myriad forms, up to and including our own self. At once, it's medicine, the whole earth. At such a time, what do you call yourself? When the earth is medicine, what are you? If you only call it medicine, even by the time Maitreya Buddha is born down here, you still won't have seen Yunmen, even in your dreams. Ultimately, how is it? Perceive the meaning on the hook. Don't stick by the 0 point of the scale. Feel the weight, feel the gravity of what you're looking at. Don't just dally. One day, Manjushri ordered Sudana to pick medicinal herbs. He said, if there is something in this world that is not medicine, bring it to me. Sudana searched all over the world, but there was nothing that was not medicine. So he went back and he told Manjushri, there is nothing that is not medicine. Sudana then picked up a blade of grass and handed it to Manjushri. Manjushri held it up, showed it to the assembly, and he said, this medicine can kill people, and it can also bring people to life. This medicine can kill people, can also bring them to life. It's like the fourth case of Shoyuroku. Remember when they're wandering on the meadow and two practitioners stop and say, well, this would be a good place for a temple. What do you think? And one bends down and plucks a piece of grass and hands it to the teacher. The temple is built. And you know, in single atom samadhi, dust, Kodo taught. Or in the big Enso of the teaching that Kozan offered us on the first teaching, the big Enso, only avoid picking and choosing. In both of those cases, we are looking at the consequence of not being fully alive. Dust, one atom samadhi. So we take the time now during practice period to really immerse, to go down to the roots, to investigate, not just the story. This is not an old story. It's absolutely current. It's burningly current. Medicine and disease everywhere. It's burningly current. How are you going to take it in and then give it back? How will you be neurally plastic enough to do that? How will you be graceful and gritty and grumpy and grand enough to do that? How will you be dedicated? How will we all be alive enough to really go into these stories? The whole earth is medicine. Why have ancients and moderns been so mistaken? I don't make the carriage behind closed doors. I love this image. Shirto uses all his strength to help the assembly. I don't make the carriage behind the doors. I make the carriage on the road. Yeah, I make the carriage on the road so we can ride and go. I make the carriage on the road and nothing's hidden. The road through is naturally quiet and empty. Except for when it isn't. Though they be high in the sky, your nostrils have still been pierced. Your head has fallen. Been pierced. We've been pierced by the needle, the acupuncture needle of zazen and meditation. And these stories have pierced us and woken us up. We have a young abbot at Green Gulch Farm after so many years, Jiryu. I love Jiryu. And his wife is head of the farm, and that makes me happy. And they have disobedient sons, which also make me very happy. Deeply disobedient children. And they're beautiful. Jiryu was born in Colombia. No, I think so. His parents were missionaries. His first language is Spanish. He teaches in South America. And he teaches at San Quentin Prison. He worked with Lee de Barros, thanks to Hozan. Ellen Sanaki invited them to establish a Sangha at San Quentin. They established Buddha Dharma Sangha and have been going every Sunday for decades. to meet with those on death row. Not death row, eternally in the prison, in that prison. Life imprisonment for bad mistakes. And so Jiryu has also trained in Japan. He's mid-40s. He's Dainen's age and my son's age, exactly the same age. Dainen Wendy Lau. He loves this phrase, Mimitsu no Kafu, which is an important phrase. You've heard it, but Jiryu spends beautiful effort to open those words. Attention to detail, continuous intimacy. Menmitsu no Kafu is, according to Suzuki Roshi, a soft and subtle apprehension of the wind of your family house. I love that expression. The wind of your family house. What is the wind of your family house? You can feel it in this temple. It is alive. On every, coming up out of the floor from the standing dead posts from the Lincoln Forest, every molecule, atom, dust of this room exudes the wind of this family house. Activist wind, dedicated wind, quiet, serene, still, silent, but up and going. There's a flavor, a style of practice. That's what we perceive and take in when we read these of a style of practice. And there's pointing outward to relationship to what we can give others. And they're asking ourselves to find the enactment of immutable truth of interconnectedness. That's Mimitsu no Kafu. And each of us called during this Ango to feel and find and know and respond to the wind of our family house. And so I want to close tonight by expressing gratitude for the wind and for the cloud and water wanderers, for those who travel, who are restless, who travel from temple to temple, for the quick turnover and change and dynamism of Upaya Zen Center, Circle of the Way Temple, and for the solid, settled, deep sitting that it also brings home. It's the wind of this house. And I want to acknowledge explicitly to Roshi and to others how made of each other we are, how this temple is made of Berkeley Zen Center. I really want to say that tonight. Okay, we've got some Berkeley Zen Center people here. And they are sitting, they've been sitting since December 26th. They're sitting, they have taken over, they have infused themselves into the waiting room of the 7th floor of the intensive care unit to be close to beloved Alan Senaki, whom Roshi has known since the 1960s. They met at Columbia. They met again and again on the activist front lines. 17 years of chaplaincy programming here at Upaya. And gratitude to Hozan. Unspeakable gratitude to the connection, to the pathways, to the roads that connect us, that connect these two temples, and they are dynamic roads. Who walks them? Let's go. Let's go walking. Mayumi Oda, she didn't live in Berkeley, but all of her work depended on Berkeley. The work she did with Kaz Tanahashi on Inochi, suing her own country for developing nuclear plutonium and sitting like a rock and drawing. Life is short, art is long, Mayumi Oda. Kaz Tanahashi and Linda Hess, they're partners for the long haul. Joanna Macy. I knew better than to trust my memory here. Mealy Scott, Alan Senaki, Lori Schley, Senaki, their 2 children, Sue Moon, all the people who worked in the Buddhist Peace Fellowship, Arnie Kotler, Therese Fitzgerald, Maria Durer, Ushimi Keda. Giants, hardcore practitioners, and so many names I don't even know. Call them out if you know. You can just, because I don't want to forget names. Let's hear some of the new names. I don't know the new practitioners so well, but I do know one of the chaplains sits at the door of the public library, which is a place where unhoused people cling and go for refuge in San Francisco, and she welcomes them. She opens up her arms and welcomes them. That's Berkeley culture. That's the wind of the family house of Berkeley, infused with the wind of this house. So, and the wind of the family house of Berkeley depends on 425 traditional shell mounds that encircle the bay. Unceded territory. The 5 creeks that run underneath the whole city out to the bay. Fresh and salt mingling at the mouth. And encouraging us, reminding us that medicine and disease subdue each other. And we send our love and prayers to Ellen. Not only was he an activist and of the highest order, and just, I need not even sing his praises. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're made of him. We know who he is. God, we know who he is. He loves us and we love him. And he would often close his sessions here at Upaya with a song. So Kodo and I had a little plan here. And we're going to do it. One of his favorite songs, written by Greg Fain from the Lotus Sutra, is "To Never Disparaging Buddha." I will never disparage you, because this bodhisattva, never disparaging bodhisattva from the Lotus Sutra, was disparaged. He was denied. He was ignored. He was too weird. But then he wrote a beautiful song that came from Berkeley Zen Center, of course, and that Abbot Steve Stuckey and Ellen Sanaki used to love to sing together, and they were great musicians on their guitars. So let's go out with the full wind of the family house, and let's promise ourselves that we're not going to turn away from these. We're not going to be horsed around and think, this is too tough for me, I don't like these stories, they're too confusing, these are our stories. And it's up to us to open them and live them and make them new and fresh if they're confusing. So let's listen to a wonderful song, part of it, and then we'll chant our song at the end. And thank you, Roshi. Roshi, thank you for inviting me here. I don't think I can thank you enough for seeing me and inviting me to practice here with you, where I'm meant to be. I love my family, I love my home temple, and I'm really grateful to be here today. So, never disparaging. Never disparaging. Here he comes. He can sing. What's really nice is we're going to get to hear him. Just hear him. Just listen. Let the room be full.
There's a book called the Lotus Sutra that you really ought to know about. A holy book that has the power to remove all fear and doubt. And his book tells the story of a man who means the world to me. He could just as well have been a woman on Wednesday, except for male head Germany. Well, they call him the Bodhisattva. never disparage, the bodhisattva never despise. And I'm making it my life's ambition to see the world through here. Carefully, because this is the chorus which you will sing next time around. I will never disparage you or keep you at arm's length. You know it's sing, for you only know your weaknesses. I only know your strengths. I would never despise you. Put down anyway. Because it's clear to me, I can plainly see you'll be a Buddha one day. I love you. Now the bodhisattva never disparaging the countless in the past. In the times of the counterfeit Dharma, and he was something of an outcast. Because the monks and nuns of his time, they were noted for their arrogance and vanity. And these were the folks who exercised great power and authority. But my boy, he never concerned himself if they treated him like a freak. He just battled everybody equally, and these are the words he would speak. Here's the chorus. I will never disparage you or keep you at arm's length. That's good. Where you only know your weaknesses, I only see your strengths. I would never despise you or put you down in any way. Because it's clear to me, I can plainly see you'll be a Buddha someday. I love you. He never read or recited the scriptures much. He only liked to practice respect. But the monks and nuns of his time, they didn't mean it like you might expect. Instead they cursed him and they reviled him and they wished that he would go. Because they all had self-esteem issues like everybody else I know. So they beat him and pelted him with clubs and stones and tried to drive him away. But he just run off to a safe distance and then he turned around and say, I will never disparage you or keep you at arm's length. Where you only see your weaknesses, I don't see your strengths. I will never despise you or put you down in any way. Because it's clear to me, I can plainly see you'll be a Buddha someday. I love you. And so it went on for years and years. He was the target of scorn and abuse. Still our hero, he shed no tears, nor did he ever wonder what's the use. Until he came to the end of his natural lifespan, he lay down fixing to die. And he heard the Holy Lotus Sutra being preached up in the sky. And his life was extended for millions of years. He's living to this day. And in the pages of the Lotus Sutra, well, you still can hear him say, I would never disparage you or keep you at arm's length. Where you only see your weaknesses, I only see your strengths. I will never despise you or put down in any way. Because it's clear to see, I can plainly see you'll be a Buddha someday. Yes, it's clear to me, I can plainly see you'll be a Buddha someday. I love you. I love you.
Wendy, thank you so much for that and for bringing Alan in. Truly, sorry about the sound, but I think you got the flavor. Such joy. So for our guests who are not in the practice period, we have quite a few people, so we'll go into dinner, and please go ahead and depart. We have to come back soon for our evening sit. But thank you so much for coming. And please come again next week on Wednesday with a talk, possibly by Roshi Joan. We'll see how she feels. Thank you, everyone. Residents, you can restore the Zendo.